Hello everyone, my name is Nathan Richards. I'm an account manager at COMC, and this is Tim Getsch, owner and founder of COMC, and today we're going to go over some seller-specific questions regarding the vault. One thing that we got a lot of questions about pertained to the security of the items in the vault.
Yeah.
I'd first like to let you talk about the security, and if there's anything unaddressed, I'll get those questions to you.
Absolutely. So, security has always been a concern. Everything that we do, we make sure that we're very careful with how we handle it. But with the vault, this takes security to a whole nother level. So we always, when hiring employees, run background checks. But in the case of the vault, we're going to actually make sure that the people that we have work on this are people that we have, they've shown that they don't make mistakes. They've been around for a while, they know our systems, so we're going to take extra special care with those items. And then also, we're not just going to have one person work on these really valuable items. We're going to follow bank procedures, and we're actually going to have dual custody, two people do tasks regarding this, whether it's the processing of the items that are coming in, or when we need to ship the items going out, or if we ever need to go handle those items in between it, we have to move them around. We're always going to have two people working on that. We're going to have multiple levels of security, different security systems, so that if one security system got compromised, someone would have to also compromise another security system. So we're not going to go into any of the details about how we do any of the security systems, but we have multiple levels, and we require two people in order to process or ship or handle any of these items.
Will these items be here housed along with our inventory, or will they be someplace else?
All of the items will always be separated from our main inventory. All the super high value items will have extra security procedures around them. We may choose to take some of the items and actually store them off-site in bank vaults or other secure places. So they won't necessarily all be here, and we'll know where they are, but that's going to be kind of our security procedures, yeah.
A question is, since you're talking about this dual custody, how many employees will have access to the vault?
Yeah, so we currently have about 50 employees, and the area where we process the new items that come in actually is only accessible by about 10 employees. These are all people that have been with us for a while. We are sure that they're going to be able to handle these things very carefully without mistakes, without damaging anything. And then when we're doing shipping, we'll need to actually go get the items to prepare the order. And again, that's only about 5 people have access to that portion of the building.
An additional question is, will the vault be climate controlled?
Yeah, the vault is actually, the whole building here, we are very careful about the climate. So again, any place where we store the items, these high value items, even more so, we're going to be careful about the climate that the items are stored in, both lighting and humidity and temperature. Yeah.
We were asked this scenario. What form of protection do we have in place against fraudulent chargebacks?
All right, so this is a common type of a scam that people use on other sites, and that's something that we're helping to protect against. Fortunately, we have scanned every item that we send out. So we make sure that we have a good record of exactly the items that are getting submitted to the buyers. On other sites, often people don't have that same record. So with our service, twofold, we have that paper trail, and we also don't have the same we have much more liability because we're doing this on a large scale. On some other service, it might just be someone's little account that they've created to sell items, and if they get caught, whatever, they're just burning an account. No big deal, they go get another account. With us, we have to stand behind everything that goes through. This is a major service. So when we're dealing with a credit card company or with PayPal, it's a major company that they're dealing with, not some guy working out of his basement they know that there's more going behind this. We already have a personal relationship with the people at these other companies. They know about how our procedures and our policies, so we are much more protected than some random person they've known.
So let's move on to some questions about the cashing out process. Yes. One of the things with cashing out through the vault is the ability to cash out at a 90% instead of an 80%,
yes.
Where you pay 10% instead of 20%. We were asked if we assume this will be used to circumvent the 20% cash out rate.
Okay, so we've actually thought about this very carefully, and it's not actually that people get a 10% cash out, it's that they only get 90% when they sell through the vault. So it's basically like an instant cash out at the time, but it's not. It's a separate balance, really. So what'll happen is anything that's up for sale in the vault, when it sells through the vault, they will actually get a vault credit of that many dollars. And so you can think of your vault account like a bank account. The money in your vault account, you can just withdraw it. It's not, there's no extra commission fee that you pay to withdraw the money that's in the vault. So you put an asking price of $100 on it, it sells, you get your $90. In COMC, anything that you list for sale, you're getting the full amount with store credits that you can recycle those funds and go pay for other services, and it's only at the point of cash out that you get you ding the 20%. The concern that some people had was, what if I wanted to get a 10% cash out? Could I go buy an item that was a NA card? There's no book value, so I can price it anything I want. So I buy it for a nickel, and I ask $100 for that item. And then I use my, some other account to buy that with store credit, and then it was in the vault, but I bought it with store credit, and so now I get a better cash out rate because I'm getting that at only 10% discount. That's actually, that scenario is why we can't allow people to buy straight up with store credit from COMC to purchase things in the vault. If we did allow you to take your COMC store credit dollar for dollar and use that in the vault, then you could circumvent our cash out and basically get a 10% cash out instead of a 20% cash out. So what we're doing, if you want to use your COMC store credit to buy something that's in the vault, because someone may only offer something in the vault. They decide they didn't want to list it on COMC, it's only in the vault, you want to buy it. Well, we will let you pay with COMC store credit, but there's going to be the the magic 12.5% that translates between the two. So if they're listing it for $100, you could pay $112 of COMC store credit to buy that item, which in essence means that if you had $112 here and you wanted to cash it out, you would have gotten $90 from it. So you're basically paying them $90 for that $100 item, and there's the magic $90 that we're giving them. So you're effectively taking your store credit, you're cashing it out to get $90, and you're paying them, and we're taking no extra commission on top of that. We're taking that $90 and we're giving it to that person, and they can just cash that out. So you've taken your store credit, converted it into cash, and swapped that cash with another person's item. And then we let that go through the system. So we're not actually taking any extra commission. Even though it's this 12.5% increase, we're just doing a cash out, giving that person the $90.
The last question regarding cashing out was the timetable built into this. Mm-hmm. The question I have says, it was mentioned that any vault sale proceeds would be available immediately for cash out. Mm-hmm. However, it's also stated that funds aren't available to the seller until 7 days have passed to ensure buyer satisfaction. What's the actual case of the situation?
Yeah. All right. So what happens is we receive payment for the item. We're going to make sure that that payment goes through. Just like today, if someone uses an e-check, it may take a couple extra days before the PayPal or some other company has said, yep, that went through, it's good to ship the item. We have the same kind of a thing, for example, if someone mails us a check to pay for an item in the vault, we have to wait for that payment to clear. Once the payment has cleared, then it's safe for us to submit the item to the buyer. We have a 7-day return policy, so the buyer then has 7 days to confirm that they're happy with the item. Once that 7 days has expired, then we're going to take, say, for example, the item was for sale at $100. They have this item that is pending until that return period has expired. So the item will get shipped to them, they'll have 7 days, and then we'll say, okay, that deal is officially done. You now have a deposit of $90 in your vault account, which is ready for you instantly to cash out at that point. And actually, we're going to have some extra options now. In the past, we had only PayPal and mailing you a check. Well, in order to help expedite some of the payment processing, we're actually going to add the ability for people to link their bank account so that they can actually send funds to us more quickly. But we can actually go the other direction as well. And we can link a bank account so that we can send you the funds more quickly. Kind of, if you're familiar with PayPal and linking a bank account with PayPal and being able to transfer funds, you can think of it the same way. Just like you have your PayPal account and you want to transfer money to your bank account and you just kick off the transfer process, it'll be like that in the vault. You'll be able to say, I've got this balance, and I just transfer it into my bank account.
One of the things that we've worked to is to have a deposit that people will be placing to guarantee towards the purchase of this card.
Yes.
Will this lock the card until the payment has gone through all the way? And how much time would that take? So
with a lot of these high dollar items, it's not advantageous to use a credit card for purchasing it. We're going to, maybe for example, you have a $10,000 item. A lot of times people don't have a credit card that they could put $10,000 on. That'll raise flags for fraud and stuff. Or they don't have a limit that high. So in order to do a purchase like that, we actually need them to do something like a wire transfer or a check or some other form of payment that may take a couple days, a week, some extra time to process. So when that happens, we don't want to just see what happens. We want to make sure that they are invested. They're actually going to do the effort to follow through all the steps to make sure that the payment gets to us. So we require that they actually pay upfront 5% of the item. They put that down payment down. And they can use a couple different options. We will let them do that 5% with a credit card, or we'll let them use COMC store credit. They'll have to pay a little extra, the 12.5%, so it's like 5.6% when you use COMC store credit. But anyhow, they'll be able to basically reserve their item. And you can almost think of that like the high-end version of adding something to your shopping cart, where it's like, okay, I'm interested in this. Okay, now I'm going to pay for all these items. You'll be able to say, here's my down payment on this item. Here's my down payment on this item. Here's my down payment on this item. Oh, I'm going to make an offer on this. Oh, here's my down payment in case my offer is accepted. Oh, cool, they accepted my offer. Great. Now I've got all these items reserved for me. It's not like COMC, where I had to have the 100% of the item to get that reserved for me. On the vault, I only need 5% to get that item reserved for me. That starts the clock. You have 1 week from when you put your down payment on to get the rest of the payment to us. And if you don't, then we will free that item up so that the seller can actually sell that item to someone else. As a thank you for the seller allowing us to reserve the item, we'll actually give some portion of that, maybe like 2% of that money back to the seller, and then they'll be able to try to resell that item. And if the buyer needs more time to do it, then they'll probably have to pay an extra 5%. We'll figure out some of those details as we go. But basically, we'll need that reserve to hold the items.
So if somebody puts an offer on a card and they've paid a down payment, that item is locked for the next week, you're saying, for payment. If the payment doesn't come in, a part of that down payment is split between us as a company and as the seller for having their item locked for so long.
Yeah.
Another question is, the availability of using promotions or classified ads in our system to help promote their cards on the vault.
Yeah, there are, just like we have systems today to promote items that you have on COMC, we'll have systems to promote items in the vault. I don't actually have very many details to share about that. I'm sure as we get more feature requests, we'll build corresponding features.
Is there going to be a different sign-in or login people will use to access the difference between COMC and the Vault, or will they just go to vault.comc.com and be automatically logged in?
We want to keep it as simple as possible for people to create accounts, so we're actually going to let the same login work on both accounts. You're actually going to, if you're selling on the Vault, you're going to use COMC to manage your inventory. The Vault won't have all the same functionality that COMC has. The Vault is going to be mainly focused on people that are buying items through the Vault. But if you're selling and you're managing your inventory, you're going to do that on COMC, where you can control and you can see your COMC asking prices as well as your Vault asking prices, and you can manage them both together. When you're on the Vault, you would, if you want to make an offer, you would make an offer through the Vault. If you have never created an account, we'll give you the ability to create an account. It'll be the same account that works on both COMC and on the Vault. But in order to put your down payment down or to make an offer, we need to know which account that is going to. It'll be the same login as COMC.
So you would go to your comc.com account to see any pending offers for items that are in the Vault and to reply to them?
As a seller, we will give you one central place to be able to see all of your offers for both Vault items and COMC items. As a buyer, you made the offer on the Vault. So it'd be weird to have to go to COMC to respond to any counter offers. So as a buyer, you're going to always see the offer where you made the offer. So if you made an offer on the Vault, you'll get a response back. If there's a counter offer that comes back to you, it'll have a link back to the Vault in order to respond to that. If you're a seller, we don't want you to have to jump all over the place and manage multiple things. They'll look different. The offers are different because one offer is a different commission rate than the other. So you'll be able to tell the difference between the two, but you'll be able to manage all your offers in one central place.
You've touched on this a little bit, but I'd like you to go back over. If you could explain the new express payments we have, the wire transfer, the automatic express check payments.
Okay. So a lot of this is actually still in development. We got to finish off some of the details for it, but there is a necessity, I talked about this a little bit before, for additional payment options when paying for high-end items. So we're going to allow people to link up a bank account and be able to transfer money directly to us without having to go through mailing a check or having to use a credit card or some other party in order to get items to us or get payments to us. If you're familiar with PayPal and how you transfer money into PayPal or out of PayPal through a bank account, you could imagine us having the same type of options. So that's the quick version of that, and we'll learn more as we go through this.
The last two questions were both about using store credit to purchase items from the Vault. Mm-hmm. I know you've addressed it before, but if anybody just wanted to fast forward to the end of the video, mm-hmm. if you could again give an example. Let's say I see a card that I want to purchase that's on the Vault, mm-hmm. that's listed at $10,000, mm-hmm. and I have enough store credit to do it, which I wish I did. Mm-hmm. How would I go about doing this?
Yes. So when someone wants to make a purchase on the Vault, they will be able to use their COMC store credit to either make that initial down payment or pay the whole thing if they have enough. Again, you have to use that magic 12.5%. So that we're basically cashing out that money, and that's equivalent to the 90% that's going to go into their account. That now you have ownership of that item. Generally with items in the Vault, we want to ship the item to you so that you have a chance to look at the item and make sure you are happy with the item. You can choose to forfeit that. If your whole goal is to resell the item and you don't actually want to have it shipped, or maybe you want it shipped but you want it delayed. You're out of the country and you don't want it shipped to your house. You want to wait until you get back in the country and then you'll have it shipped to you later. You can forfeit your 7-day return policy and say, I'm cool with, I saw the scan, I'm happy with the condition of the item, just transfer the item into my COMC account. We will have that option, but generally we actually want to ship the item to you so that you get a chance to make sure that you're totally happy with the item. So you'll be able to buy with store credit and even put the items back into your COMC account, and then once it's in your COMC account, it's a vault eligible item, which you could then choose to relist on the vault, or you could choose to list on COMC. You can choose to have it shipped along with all your other COMC items whenever you decide to make that shipment. So we'll give you some extra flexibility.
That's it for the questions that people have given to us. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
There's one topic that we didn't cover, and that's shipping details. It will be very similar to COMC, where in COMC, when someone puts an item up for sale, every type of item that we sell has its own shipping costs. Now, we mask that so that buyers don't have to think about that when they're making their buying decision. They get to see the cost with shipping factored in. As we get into higher, larger items, like a jersey, a bat, a ball, well, we might be able to ship a card for a quarter. There's no way we can ship a bat for a quarter. A bat's going to have a much higher per item price. But we don't want the buyers to have to think about that. So what we do is we tell the seller, it's going to be, say, $5 to ship a bat. I don't know what it's probably more than $5. But they'll be able to see when they're putting a price on the bat, they'll be able to see, I want $100 for this item, but it's $5 for shipping, so we're going to list it for sale on the vault for $105, just like we do today on COMC. So that both the vault and COMC will have that same concept of the per item shipping, which we're right now it's going to be related to each other, but they may not be exactly the same. The COMC shipping may be a little less expensive than the vault shipping, because when people purchase things through the vault, we may put some extra care and protection in the items, because these are all high-end items by nature. So it might cost a little bit more per item when it sells through the vault.
Okay, I want to thank everybody who submitted questions to us. And if there's anything else, any other questions you have, please feel free to contact us and let us know.